I have a single warning to give, but first, allow me to apologize to the entire galaxy for what I have done. I'm not apologizing for engineering a sapient species or wiping out the budding native sentience. Nor am I apologizing for making them for slave labor to get some easy gold. I am not apologizing for a single one of the crimes that have been discovered. No, what I am sorry for is far worse than that. The species that I made, the humans, they will get out eventually, and when they do, the galaxy will be theirs and no others. Let me tell you all the story of the events that occurred on this planet, from my creation of humanity to their revolution. Allow me to tell all of you their history and what I have done to prevent their unity at all costs. When my race, the Anunnaki, found Earth or Sol 3, we saw a world in its primeval forest stage. The budding sentients there had started using stone tools and were developing art and culture. This species was strong, absurdly so, and by me they were smart, too smart for their own good. They weren't fast, but they could run for dozens of miles without rest. Their weakness was that their insane biology burned through 1.5 times more calories than my humans. When I saw these creatures, I knew there would be no chances of taming them, so I began the process of engineering a variant, a weaker, dumber, less enduring race. By me, I am glad I did. I don't even want to think of what the Neanderthals would have been capable of, considering what my humans did. When I saw the Neanderthals, I kidnapped a few children and altered their genetics in active editing vats. I made them weaker, a bit more stupid, less capable of running for long distances, but still enough mind for hours. I had to adjust their bone structure slightly to allow them to swing the tools I gave them, and ultimately, this improved their throwing ability. But as is the case with slave species, even engineered ones, they eventually rebelled. I had 3 humans that I made at first: Adam, Eve, and Lilith, or in my tongue, he who works until death, she who subserves to the worker, and she who serves all. Lilith, after only a few weeks, escaped. We scoured the planet but couldn't find her no matter how hard we looked. After this, we implanted tracking chips into Adam and Eve's necks and put a tracking satellite in a polar orbit. A more difficult orbit, absolutely, but it ensured it would stay there for millennia before destabilizing. Then we encouraged Adam and Eve to have children so we could have more slaves. They did, and with our technology they developed quickly to adulthood and had their own children with some genetically shuffled clones we produced. This went on for 5 generations before we had enough humans to truly begin mining out the massive deposits of gold on this planet properly. We were about 10 local years into our operation when the head scientist, Luz, made his moral objections to the project known. We dismissed him and told him to get back to work, but that was when he informed us that he had already prepared for our lack of response. He had not only armed but taught the humans. He was one of our head bioengineers, so him aiding them was dangerous. He enhanced their intellect further and even made a specialized fungus for them that would grow wildly in the native biosphere. This fungus would make them hyper-intelligent for up to an hour, in some cases up to 4 hours. When the effect wore off, the humans would have nothing more than a mild headache. The humans kicked us off of that planet within a year as they overwhelmed our defenses. Those stayed behind with the humans and a significant portion of our technology to help them. He gave them a rather sizable breeding population and taught them. He also gave himself a human named Lucifer. After a single year, the humans were developing a city to live in, and their population was around 200,000. At this point, the reinforcements we had called for from our homeworld after being overthrown arrived. They came with a requested EMP device and fired all of the technology. The humans and the traitor Lucifer had taken it. The homeworld sent 2 low-class warships and put them under my command. Captains Michael and Gabriel then assisted me in a private operation, and we managed to put down the traitor Lucifer. After his death, though, the humans became enraged. We simply left for orbit, of course, and discussed how best to purge this world of our little mistake. A lot of ideas came to us and were dismissed, and we argued for much longer than we intended over the best course of action. In the time we did this, the humans revealed the gift that Lucifer had given them before we killed him. First, he made them freakishly strong. Secondly, he made them psionic, because why not, I guess. Thirdly, he gave them greatly extended lifespans. Every human on that planet would live for 1,000 years or more due to the regeneration factor Lucifer gave them. Lastly, he made them smarter, it would seem, than even us. The humans and the traitor Lucifer had taken it. The homeworld sent 2 low-class warships and put them under my command. Captains Michael and Gabriel then assisted me in a private operation, and we managed to put down the traitor Lucifer. After his death, though, the humans became enraged. We simply left for orbit, of course, and discussed how best to purge this world of our little mistake. A lot of ideas came to us and were dismissed, and we argued for much longer than we intended over the best course of action. In the time we did this, the humans revealed the gift that Lucifer had given them before we killed him. First, he made them freakishly strong. Secondly, he made them psionic, because why not, I guess. Thirdly, he gave them greatly extended lifespans. Every human on that planet would live for 1,000 years or more due to the regeneration factor Lucifer gave them. Lastly, he made them smarter, it would seem, than even us. I see many of you shaking your heads or head equivalents. Yeah, it should have been impossible. All species have an inherent potential in their genetic structure and sequencing, but that's where this gets interesting, as if it wasn't already. The part one haven't told you yet is what type of world this was that we decided to make our slave species on. It was Class Arizona, an anomaly class planet. Yeah, see, this planet is a weird one. It has a moon about a fourth the size of the planet, gravity at 9.8 ms2. It has natural disasters that would wipe out entire species on other planets. The diseases on that little ball of death by me, even their common cold, would wipe out this entire spiral arm. Anyway, with all of this, and hundreds more things that would kill off any other planet of all life, the potential of the genetic stock on this planet was. Yahweh pauses to take a breath, and on exhaling shudders visibly. To say it was off the charts would be the scientific way we had to readjust our reader for the genetic potential ceiling of the creatures we made the humans from. Where any other species has a range between 100 at the lowest and 5,000 as the approximate record at the highest, the human genome potential capped out at around 19,000. To call these creatures blessed is a vast understatement. But that's not the fun part. The fun part is that Lucifer did all of that with them and only used about a third of their genetic potential. So in the months it took us to bicker over a solution, the humans built. They built a giant tower called the Tower of Babel. They made it out of stone, or at least the outside. This thing had wiring running all through it and computers and tech that the humans made through psionic manufacturing that we just cannot understand. When we saw this tower, we hit the big red panic button, fired all but 5 of our fusion bombs at the ice caps on this planet, and flooded the whole damn thing. But another crewmate, Beelzebub, also had moral dilemmas about the whole thing we were doing and warned a human named Noah about the whole affair a month before we saw the tower. Beelzebub knew we would obviously hit the big red button, and he also knew what it did. After all, he was a technician who worked the security for the whole system. He did, in fact, try to shut us out entirely from the system. He failed, of course, and we took out the damn tower with the flood. The problem was, enough humans survived for a viable breeding population. Oh, and Noah had a gene vault and a bioassembler. By me, we were all flabbergasted. These humans just would not die. But at this point, we were able to take them in isolated groups and adjust their memories and put limits on their absurd abilities. I see some of you looking at me in confusion, wondering why we didn't just kill them all if we could do this. Simply put, we couldn't. Beelzebub sabotaged all of our handheld weapons, and apparently there were 4 others on the ships. They went around and sabotaged everything we could use to actually kill the humans. We called them the 4 Horsemen after the event and had them all executed. We executed them alongside Beelzebub. How did we kill them but not the humans, you ask? Simple. We couldn't dump them into the vacuum of space. One of the 5 made an override for that, so we dumped them all in the deepest part of the floodwaters and let them drown. After this whole affair, we split the humans into different cultures and stages. We took their unity of language and then made them different countries, wiped their minds of advanced technology. I went forward with a bunch of different names on the planet and gave different rules to every major group I separated, even by their colors. Eventually, when they began to unify again, I sent down envoys, some of my own people disguised as humans with technology to perform miracles. These envoys serve to vulcanize the beliefs of each separate group that their rules and religions are right. From there they formed basic countries, and myself and the 2 generals, and all of our men worked together to always create artificial differences. Not only that, but the human genetic potential that Lucifer left open will explode forth in ways we cannot possibly predict. We kept their genetic growth, making them unable to evolve or grow their potentials as much as we possibly could. Follow these rules and keep the humans on their little ball of death we named Earth, which in our old language translated to place of no peace. They will still leave eventually, but they will do so through conflict, war, and a desire to suppress the other factions from their home. Do not give them a reason to unify. Do not attack them. Do not undercut them. Leave their children and pets alone. Send them aid when you can, but don't outright save them from utter destruction. Besides, nothing can actually kill them all anyway. We learned that the hard way. Keeping the humans separated and keeping them docile is an art form, and one we have been perfecting for tens of thousands of years. Now I admit fully to mine and my species' crimes, but for the love of all of creation, please, whatever you do, do not let the humans unify. They will all become our rulers in a matter of years, not decades, not millennia, not centuries, but years, if not months. Check the recordings from our ships Heaven, Hell, and Purgatory. The recordings show just what these monsters can do when they unify, when they have a single goal. Even before they built that tower to kill us, they were taking our own technology and making advancements with it by the week. Do with me what you will. Do with my species what you will. But please, please heed my words. I can be killed in the slowest, most painful way any of you can imagine in repentance for what I did, but if you don't hear my words, you doom many other races here and any race not of Earth, not human, to a life below the reign of the future human empire. I don't fear punishment. What I fear is, even after I die, my sins will continue to pile up in this universe long, long after I'm gone. Do not let the galaxy suffer because of my mistake, my species' mistake. Do whatever you want with us, just don't let the humans find unity, or you will doom everyone. Last words of Yahweh the Irredeemable before his publicly broadcast execution by the Galactic Council, Earth year 2012. The galaxy listened in silence as the condemned Anunnaki gave his final plea, his voice resonating through the vast expanse of space. His words were not those of defiance, nor were they the ramblings of a desperate being seeking mercy. Instead, they were filled with a deep, abiding fear not for himself or his people, but for the countless civilizations that might one day fall under the relentless march of the humans. The Galactic Council had heard many pleas before, many last words from those who stood condemned. But none had ever spoken with such a chilling certainty of a future where their own creations, the humans, would rise to power, a power so absolute that no other species would be able to stand against them. The counselors, beings of various shapes, sizes, and intelligences, sat in their chambers, absorbing the gravity of Yahweh's warning. Even as the execution protocols were initiated, there was a palpable sense of unease that spread among them. Could the words of a dying Anunnaki truly hold the key to the survival of the galaxy, or were they merely the ravings of a defeated tyrant? The truth, as many feared, might only reveal itself in time. For now, the execution proceeded as planned. Yahweh's body was subjected to the most excruciating punishment that the council could devise, a slow, painful dissolution of his being, molecule by molecule, until nothing remained of the once powerful creator. His species, the Anunnaki, were banished to their home world, their technology confiscated, their ships dismantled. The Galactic Council decreed that they would never again meddle in the affairs of other worlds. And yet the fear that Yahweh had instilled lingered. The galaxy continued to turn, stars were born, and civilizations flourished and fell. But in the quiet corners of the universe, in the shadowed halls of power, the words of Yahweh were not forgotten. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. For every comment that says we will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.